The world lost water and power overnight. The man's house was the only one with lights on. Neighbors are coming out of their houses, complaining that it must be freezing. It must be freezing. Plus, they didn't even prepare instant noodles in advance. Even if they don't freeze, they'll starve to death. But I'm playing games at home without a care in the world. Because I hit a Walmart in my house in advance. The goddess I've been pleasing for 18 years. I've been begging for food for 18 years. And I took a picture. I took a picture of red wine with steak. And I went over there. The goddess recognized it as top-grade Wagyu beef. And 100,000 bottles of red wine. Then she pitifully said she also want to eat steak. I laughed when I heard that. If you want to eat it, go to the supermarket and buy it yourself. It turns out that the blue planet was affected by a supernova explosion, resulting in a global extreme cold storm. And I rely on the supermarket warehouse supervisor. I had enough supplies to last me 2.5 years. But the goddess broke into my house with a bunch of neighbors, and took all my food. In order to save food, they decided to start with me. And the goddess happily said she tricked me into opening the door. And she wanted a piece of my thigh. I died in a state of agony, in a state of great resentment. But when I opened my eyes again, I was reborn 2.5 months ago when the world was frozen. I vowed never to be a bootlicker in my life, and to pay back the pain of my last life 1,000 times over. But the most important thing now, before the end of the world, and build a strong enough safe house. While I was thinking about where to start, I suddenly saw a flash of silver in front of my eyes. The next moment I was in a strange space. Looking at this strange space, a bold idea popped into my head. If I could bring a Walmart into the space, even if it's for 100 years, I wouldn't have to worry about food or drink. At that moment, my stomach rumbled, thinking that when the end comes, I would not be able to eat many good things. So I went to the best restaurant in the city. I ate $50,000 in one meal. In the end of the world, a bowl of instant noodles can buy a person's life. It's not so easy to get enough to eat at that time. This scene was just seen by the goddess I've been courting for 18 years. My girlfriend was so surprised. Yuqing, you were so lucky. The bootlicker who chased you is a hidden rich kid. Fang Yuqing won't let go of this opportunity. She hit on Zhang Yi right away. What a coincidence. I laughed at that. In my last life, I was fooled by his innocent look. I ended up becoming a bowl of bone soup in her mouth. Although I want to kill this bitch right now. But that would also put me in jail early. I had to wait until the end of time. Then I pulled out my bank card. I asked them if they wanted to go to the grocery store with me. I thought I'd use them as free labor. As I expected. They were so happy that they agreed. Good, we're neighbors. I'll help you carry some stuff. Who knows? I just bought 2 big shopping carts and threw them to them. It's good to have free labor. This made my best friend look unhappy. You're a big man. You're a big man who just buys and doesn't contribute? Hearing this, Fang Yuqing hurriedly smiled and said, I've done you a big favor today. You'll have to treat us to a big meal later. Hearing this, I laughed inwardly. Of course I'll treat you too well. When the cold comes, none of you will escape. At that moment, Auntie Lin from the neighborhood committee with her grandson. She came up to us. Zhang, you can't eat all this by yourself. Why don't you give some to Mrs. Lin? She said that her 2.5-year-old grandson took something from my shopping cart. I grabbed it away from him. I'm sorry. I don't have enough for myself. Seeing this situation, the grandson made a scene. You bastard, give it back to me, or I'll beat you to death. I said in a cold voice, say it again if you dare. I'll slap you to death. I made the grandson cry. But Mrs. Lin wouldn't let it go. You're an adult. Why do you bother with children? Consider this box my purchase. I'll transfer the money to you later. You make it sound like someone's trying to take advantage of you. But I just threw out my payment code. Every time I said I'd give you the money now. Or go to the supermarket and buy it yourself. This action made Mrs. Lin furious. She scolded me for 2 minutes. When I got home, Fang Yuqing winked at me, don't forget to treat me. After sending them off, I put all the food I bought into the alien space. The next step, I had to build an impenetrable steel fortress. With heating devices and medicines. It would be nice to get some big guys with a little bit of fire. But I'm in no hurry. We've got 90 days before the cold hits. I'm selling off my family's possessions as fast as I can. You can always get it when you have the money. Early the next morning, I went to the alien space to check the freshness of the food. Although it's impossible to preserve living things. But the food was as fresh as the day I bought it. Then I took out my cell phone and contacted the best hotel in the area. I directly booked 500 tables of food. I said I would hold a banquet for 3 days and 3 nights. But the hotel manager said, these 500 tables will cost at least $1 million in drinks. You need to pay a deposit of $200,000 in advance. I didn't hesitate. I transferred $200,000 directly. Then I found my real estate license. I went to the bank to mortgage it. When the end comes, the money will become useless scrap paper. the mortgaged property and my own savings is just enough to build my own safe house. I need more money to buy weapons and supplies. While I was thinking how I could get more money, a man in a suit came up to me and said, "Do you need money?" I was so happy to hear that. You want money, you get it. And soon the man in the suit led me to a man. Soon the man in the suit brought me to a man. The man didn't say much. He asked me how much I wanted to borrow. But the interest rate will be a little high. I rubbed my hands together. It doesn't matter if the interest rate is high or not. The main thing is to get the money as soon as possible. So I mortgaged the property I had just mortgaged. And the Mercedes-Benz in my name. It was a good deal for both of us. I borrowed $4 million for a house with a market value of $5 million and a car with a market value of $300,000. I borrowed $4 million. And I had to pay them back $7 million. And I think they're really good people. Giving away money for nothing. Then I went to the most famous security company in China. The most famous company in China, War Dragon Security. In my past life, a rich kid spent $2 billion to build a top-notch safe house. The result? That rich kid became the king of the land in the apocalypse. At this time, a business manager came over, asked me if I needed any help. I went up to him and told him what I wanted to do. I said I wanted to build a post-apocalyptic safe house. The business manager didn't say much. He took out a few options for me to choose from. But I wasn't satisfied with the options. I was not satisfied. Then he said the house should be reinforced with aerospace materials. The balcony glass should be the strongest bulletproof glass. We also need to add an air filtration system and a 360-degree surveillance system. And the door should be made of the same material as the bank security door. After reading my requirements, the sales manager was shocked. With this kind of remodeling, if you add some weapons, it's like a fortress. The final plan was agreed to cost $8 million. I paid the deposit and told them to start work immediately, and said the balance would be paid in 3 months. The next step was to get some weapons for defense. I made a call. I got in touch with a hunting club I knew. I know the owner of the hunting club. I got a couple of crossbows from him to use as weapons. And right on cue, the 500 tables I ordered were delivered by trucks one after another. This attracted a lot of spectators from the neighborhood. This is the delivery truck of a 5-star hotel. These trucks must cost at least $1 million. A few moments later, 500 tables of banquets were set up all over my house. I didn't say much. I put them all into the alien space. Such a large amount of food. Together with the ingredients I ordered earlier, I basically won't have to worry about food for the rest of my life. The next day, the staff from the security company came to the house. Started to build a safe house. This scene attracted the attention of many neighbors. They all teased me if I was off my meds. But I didn't give a damn. When the end comes, you will know who is the joke. Then I went to the company's manager Joe. At twice the market price. Purchased a portion of the warehouse. The next step is to transport these things back home bit by bit. My stockpiling of supplies for several days in a row caught Fong Yuqing's attention. So she asked me if something happened recently. She even said she missed me. In response to this bitch's warmth, I didn't want to reply a single word. This made Fong Yuqing furious. Zhang Yi, this bootlicker dares to ignore me. But he's still curious about my sudden stockpiling of supplies. He was curious. My best friend on the side snorted. What's the big deal? The state will definitely notify. You just keep on. You'd better catch Zhang Yi the bootlicker. Half a month later, I've successfully completed my safe house. In order to protect my employer's safety, the business manager specially installed a surveillance system on each floor. The business manager also installed a surveillance system on each floor. I'm very satisfied with this. The next step was to wait for the last of my supplies to arrive. Soon several large trucks of drinking water delivered one after another. Uncle Yu from the same neighborhood was curious about Zhang. What are you doing with all those buckets of water? Uncle Yu is one of the few people. He was one of the few good people in my past life. I whispered that this year's temperatures would be very unusual. It's best to stock up on cold weather supplies as soon as possible. Uncle Yu was half convinced. But seeing my serious face, he believed me. For the rest of the day, I tried my best to exchange all the money. I exchanged it for various goods. On the third day before the end of the extreme cold, I went back to the warehouse. I invited all my colleagues to drink a cup of milk tea. Not even 2.5 minutes after finishing it, all the coworkers fainted. In order to move the entire Walmart warehouse, I put sleeping pills in the milk tea in advance. After turning off the surveillance equipment, I went to the warehouse, randomly put rows and rows of goods, and put them all into the alien space. With the help of the gold finger of the alien space, I soon emptied the entire warehouse. At that moment, a box in the corner caught my attention. I opened it and took a look. It's the technological product cold-proof jacket that I bought a few days ago. It's said to be able to withstand temperatures as low as 100 degrees below zero. with this batch of supplies. Even in the face of the cold ice age, I have no fear. In order to prevent exposure, I gave myself a glass of sleeping water. Then I put myself on my colleague's body and fell asleep. 2.5 hours later, I was shaken awake by a colleague. What the hell is going on with the supervisor? Our warehouse has been emptied. I pretended to jump up when I heard that. What the hell? Then I looked at the empty warehouse. I looked at the empty warehouse and said, what happened? How come all the supplies in the warehouse have disappeared? At this time the manager called. Asked me about the loss of warehouse materials. After learning that the entire South China warehouse was emptied at once, manager immediately cursed how this is possible. Are you a mole? Stealing from the police. Embarrassed smile manager. What do you take me for? Besides, I'm not that capable. I think we should report it to the higher authorities as soon as possible, so as not to delay the investigation time. After hanging up the phone, I reassured my colleagues not to be afraid. We're not afraid of the shadows. Soon I and all the colleagues on duty were called to the police station for questioning. But after some questioning, we didn't get any answers. Then, Uncle Hat told us not to leave Tianhai City hastily, in order to cooperate with the investigation. Soon the story was on the news in Tianhai City. No one would dare to believe it. Millions of square meters of supplies have disappeared in less than 3 hours. At that very moment, the sky suddenly began to snow heavily. I knew it was a sign of extreme cold, so I rushed home. 3 days later, the aftermath of a supernova explosion swept across the globe. That directly brought devastation to the entire planet. The entire planet was devastated. Temperatures began to plummet overnight. Looking out the window, snow is flying. I was calm. It's finally here. But at this time, the owner's group is lively. After all, as the South, it's the first time I've seen such heavy snow. I look at all this with a calm face. Perhaps for many people, this may be the first time they see snow. It may also be the last time. In my previous life, the snow lasted for 2.5 years. And the temperature will get colder and colder, causing many people who didn't stock up on food in advance froze to death in this winter. The second day of the extremely cold weather, the snow in front of the neighborhood has piled up as high as half a man. Even if the people inside turn on the air conditioner to the maximum, they were still shivering. But I, who had prepared all kinds of warming equipment in advance, I was sleeping soundly. But at that moment, I was suddenly woken up by a ringing phone. Turned out to be a call from bitch Fong Yuqing. He asked Zhang Yi with a smile on his face. He asked Zhang Yi if he had stocked up on supplies. Did you know the temperature would drop? You didn't even tell me. So I was freezing my ass off. I laughed disdainfully at his words. I hung up the phone directly. Fong Yuqing on the other side of the line exploded with anger. This bootlicker dares to hang up on me. Then, he had the cheek to send me a text message asking for food. I laughed when I read it. You still want to treat me like a bootlicker? I sent him a picture. I sent a photo of red wine with steak. Fong Yuqing recognized the top-grade Wagyu beef at once, and 100,000 bottles of red wine. Then she said she wanted to eat steak too. I laughed at the red wine. If you want to eat it, go to the supermarket and buy it yourself. See my message. Fong Yuqing's veins rippled. But after thinking about it, she calmed down. After all, I'm the fish she has to catch. And I was bored watching TV after eating and drinking. At that moment, the flat panel of the surveillance building suddenly made a noise. On the screen, Mrs. Lin said with conviction, "Don't rush to loot the supplies. This extreme weather will last 2 or 3 days at most. Our neighborhood committee will help you through this. Looting will only cause prices to rise. If anyone dares to hoard supplies, I'll report it to the authorities." But just then, a voice rang out behind them, "Mrs. Lin, how do you know the snow won't last long? You're blocking everyone from going out to shop. Will you be responsible for anything that happens?" Hearing the surrounding homeowners have also agreed. "Right, if we don't stock up now, when there is no food you are responsible for." Auntie Lin hastened to say that the neighborhood committee will be responsible for this matter. Then she pointed at me and yelled at Zhang Yi, "Don't incite people here. This is illegal behavior." I didn't care about him. I turned around and went back to my super safe house. Soon a week passed. But the snow outside still had no intention of stopping. I was at home eating and drinking as usual, when I got a message on my cell phone. Auntie Lin asked me to go out and clear the snow. She asked me to go out to clear the snow. I didn't even think about it and refused. It's snowing faster than he can plow it. Auntie Lin was obviously picking a fight with me. He was furious. They all followed suit. Then, Auntie Lin ordered Zhang Yi in the name of the neighborhood committee. "You must go out and clear the snow. Anyone who dares to object. When the snowstorm is over, you'll be liquidated by the organization." Seeing this, I said in a cold voice, "That's a lot of authority." I then crackled a bunch of words and sent them out. "How do not see you call the neighborhood of the rich second generation? They've been bullying us honest people. Mrs. Lin, you're so capable. Why don't you ask Su Hao? Chun Zhenghao and the others to clear the snow. Chun Zhenghao is the head of an earth-moving project. He has hundreds of men under his command. And Su Hao is a rich kid with connections. In my past life, these two guys broke into my house. They took all my food. When I said that, the others are all clamoring in the homeowners group. Zhang Yi is right. You have the guts to call them. After seeing the news, Mrs. Lin, she yelled at me. Obviously, he was embarrassed by me, so he had no choice but to shout in the group. Both of them to come out and clear the snow together. When Chun Zhenghao saw the message, he cursed at once. What the hell is wrong with you? Are you sick? I'll kill you if you don't stop bothering me. Su Hao chimed in and said, you're a big idiot. Every day he takes the owner's money and makes a fool of himself. Now he really thinks he's the master. I don't give a shit about you poor bastards. When she read this paragraph, Mrs. Lin was so angry she didn't even dare to fart. But she's pointing the finger at me. Zhang Yi, you're just trying to make things difficult for me. Aren't you? You're satisfied with not going out to clear the snow? I picked up my cell phone. I turned on my voice and laughed coldly. I've been scolded by someone else. You're here to make your presence felt. Aren't you? If you say a few more words of nonsense, I'll kill you. Seeing my serious tone, Auntie Lin immediately conceded defeat. At that moment, there was a thumping sound from my room door. I heard Chun Zhenghao yell at Zhang Yi outside. You were so cool in the group, weren't you? I'll kill you if you don't believe me. At that, I raised my crossbow and walked to the door. I'm not sure who's going to get killed. An arrow pierced his calf. The wounded Chun Zhenghao fell to the ground and wailed. He would never have imagined. I'm an honest man. I'm such an honest man. I didn't realize that this was only the first step of my revenge. In my last life, it was him and Fang Yuqing who broke into my house. They not only boiled me into bone soup, he even took part in eating my most important parts. In my new life, I'm gonna pay back the pain 100 times over. It's 100 degrees below zero. Chun Zhenghao's leg that was shot through will definitely not be saved. If not treated in time, he can only die slowly in this cold weather. Chun Zhenghao endured the pain. He stumbled to the elevator. He could never have imagined. I've only met him a few times. I wanted to kill him. This made Chun Zhenghao feel scared. So he took out his cell phone and called for help. However, the whole city was already covered in snow. The ambulance from the hospital couldn't come at all. He had no choice. Chun Zhenghao could only return home to treat his wounds himself. It's a good thing the weather is cold. His feet have been frozen to the point that he almost lost consciousness. Chun Zhenghao had a heart of gold. He pulled out the arrow. Right after that, he took out his cell phone and threatened Zhang Yi in the owner's group. You bastard, wait for me. I'll see if I can kill you and that's it. In the face of his threats, I wasn't afraid at all. Then I replied with an overbearing voice, don't you dare. Be careful, I'll waste your remaining 2 legs. This scene directly stunned the crowd in the group. After all, Chun Zhenghao is the district hegemon. It's the first time someone dared to confront him head-on. Soon, he picked up the phone and summoned his hundreds of minions. In less than a moment, a bunch of minions with their own weapons. They arrived in force. After learning what happened, the leader of the gang, Mr. Bald, took a bunch of his boys with him. To my doorstep. Offend us. Brother Ho, today is the anniversary of your death. Then he slashed at the door. But the next moment, the knife was knocked out of the room. This shocked all the gangsters into a cold sweat. How many people has this kid offended? He made his house harder than a tortoise shell. Watching this scene on the surveillance camera, I smiled disdainfully. Have you not had enough to eat? Harder. Seeing those people cursing outside the house. They were so angry. I had an idea. I took a hose and connected it to the kitchen faucet. They were so angry. I'll cool it down for you. The thugs in front of the door saw the lock suddenly open. Immediately alerted. After realizing it's not a bow and arrow, they were amused. But the next moment, the hose suddenly spewed out. 100 degrees below zero. At once. The punks at the door were 20 years younger. They all froze like grandsons. In no time at all, a bunch of them froze to the ground. Only 3 of them escaped. Seeing this scene, I'm very satisfied. In this extremely cold weather, cold water is more powerful than any weapon. On the other side, the 3 boys who escaped are hugging each other and shivering. Chun Zhenghao looked at them and cursed angrily, what's going on? A bunch of you. How come you can't even bring a little punk here? When he heard that, the 3 boys hurriedly explained that Zhang Yi was too despicable. He turned the gate into an anti-burglary steel door. We've been hacking at it for half a day, but we've only scratched off some of the paint. And he even poured cold water on us. Upon hearing this, Chun Zhenghao's face instantly darkened. No wonder the door felt a bit hard when I opened it just now. But don't worry. I don't believe this kid can hide in there for the rest of his life. Send a few people to guard his door day and night. When he catches a cold, I'll make sure he gets 80 pieces of him. I don't know how much food I have at home. Not to mention a lifetime of food. Can't even eat it all in 2 lifetimes. On the other hand, Uncle Yao is leading some men. He's clearing the snow in front of the neighborhood. They're going to dig a passage to the supermarket for food supplies. But the snow is not falling as fast as the shoveling. After a while, they gave up and were ready to go back. While watching this scene, I felt a sigh of relief. With the power of mankind, can't fight against this kind of natural disaster. Despite the positive reports on TV. To reassure all the people, the country is launching a final attack on the snowstorm. But only I know that 90% of the world's living creatures will freeze to death. 90% of the world's living creatures will freeze to death in the snowstorm. It didn't take long for residents to realize something was wrong. Something was wrong. It had been snowing for 7 days and 7 nights. And it hasn't stopped. Now the snow has covered the entire first floor of the neighborhood. It's impossible to go out to buy supplies. It's no longer possible. In front of everyone, I stocked up on supplies in advance. Obviously became a target. The goddess I've been courting for 18 years was the first to send me a greeting message. I laughed when I saw the message. If it wasn't for my last life, she had a share of my most important part. I would have treated her like a white lotus flower. So I replied to her in a nonchalant way that she was doing fine. Then Fong Yuqing had the cheek to ask me for something to eat. She said she'd invite me back later. In the face of the goddess's request, I didn't even think about it. Immediately, I took a picture of a lobster to satisfy her craving. She said she was already full. I'll treat you next time. Seeing this situation, Fong Yuqing was furious. She decided to expel me from her fish pond. At that moment, her bitch best friend sent me a message. Why are you so stupid? Yuqing is very angry now. When I saw the message, I laughed. She's really good at pretending. One of you is the bad guy. The other one's in the red. Isn't it? Bitch's best friend didn't give up. How long will the snowstorm last? You starve yourself for 2 meals to get Yuqing first. Then you'll make a lot of money. I didn't give a damn about it. I replied directly. This made my best friend furious. Why did this bootlicker suddenly come to his senses? Fong Yuqing also sighed. My attitude towards him has changed 380 degrees. At this time, bitch's best friend said one less bootlicker is one less bootlicker. Aren't there other bootlickers? At that, Fong Yuqing's eyes lit up. She immediately called for other bootlickers. Soon Zhou Peng rushed over with a big bag. He even said that this is all the food he has. Hearing this, Fong Yuqing was touched. She immediately gave him a good guy card. Zhou Peng, you're really a good man. Not waiting for Zhou Peng to finish expressing his loyalty, bitch's best friend closed the door. Soon 3 days passed in a flash. But the snow still hasn't stopped. I gnawed on a chicken leg and looked at the time on my cell phone. The show was finally about to begin. The next moment, the whole neighborhood was plunged into darkness. Neighbors were coming out of their houses. They were asking each other if they had power. Now the water and electricity are off. The air conditioner is completely out of commission. It's going to be freezing to death if this continues. I flossed my teeth after eating the roast chicken. Then I turned on the generator I had prepared. Luckily I died early in my last life. Otherwise I'd be freezing like their grandchildren. At this moment, Mrs. Lin from the neighborhood committee was shivering towards her grandson. He never thought it would snow for so long. At that moment, there was a message from the neighborhood association. It said that this is a global blizzard that won't be seen for 100,000 years. It might lead to an extinction of all living creatures. Several major cities in China have already fallen. Everyone must stock up on supplies. After reading the news, Mrs. Lin was shocked. He didn't realize the consequences of this snowstorm would be so serious. It gave him an idea. Before everyone gets the news, he must trick them into buying food. So Auntie Lin immediately posted a message in the homeowners group. Don't worry, everyone. The disaster is only temporary. Crews are already working on repairs. The water and electricity have been cut off. Officials have issued an order. It's an emergency situation. Neighborhood committees will be unified management of the neighborhood owners. Those who don't cooperate will be arrested and interrogated by the police. When he saw the news, Chun Zhenghao cursed in dissatisfaction. Although he has a lot of subordinates, but he didn't dare to challenge the authorities. Then, Mrs. Lin continued to say that due to the blizzard, has caused a huge impact on everyone's lives. In order to help everyone get through the storm, the neighborhood committee decided to collect every owner's supplies and distribute them uniformly. After seeing the news, I laughed. It was the same pattern as in my last life. At that moment, Mrs. Lin sent me a private message. Zhang, you usually work at the warehouse. You must have stockpiled a lot of food, right? And you bought 3 big carts of stuff last time. Now everyone is in trouble. It's time for you to shine. When it's over, I'm sure we'll pay you back. I laughed at that, you old hag. You had a lot to do with my death in my last life. Wait for me. Then, I immediately sent a voice reply. That's great. I've just run out of food at home. Auntie Lin, if you've collected the supplies, please spare some for me. After the news, he almost exploded. This kid obviously hoarded a few large trucks of supplies. How could he have eaten them all so quickly? Thinking about him and his grandson. He and his grandson are counting on my supplies. So Mrs. Lin suppressed her anger. She said in a nice voice, Xiaozhong. This is an order from the organization. You must obey them. After the snowstorm is over, I'll report you to the organization for praise. When I read the news, I laughed. If I hadn't died so early in my past life, I wouldn't have believed you. So I kicked my teeth and replied, Auntie, I'm not lying to you. We really don't have any food at home. Why don't you take the lead? Bring me some packets of instant noodles. Upon hearing this, Mrs. Lin couldn't hold back any longer. She yelled at Zhang Yi in a rage. If you don't hand over the supplies, you're against the organization. I'll report you to the organization. But I mocked. How can you represent the organization? You're not even a civil servant. You're not even a civil servant. Why don't you go to heaven? Usually it's okay to let you act like a pussy. Now the situation is like this. You really take yourself seriously. That's what you said. Auntie Lin smashed her cell phone in anger. How dare this little brat talk to me like that? At least I'm the leader of the neighborhood. After getting no advantage from me, Auntie Lin turned her attention to the other owners. Anyway, she tried to cheat as many as she could. Soon 2.5 days passed by. Under Auntie Lin's persuasion, a lot of homeowners actually sent supplies to her home. As I watched the scene, I laughed coldly in my heart. A bunch of fools. The first thing we need to do now is to save ourselves. You really believe there are good people in this post-apocalyptic world? The whole world is now in chaos. If you don't have enough supplies, we can only wait for death. Soon after, many homeowners have been calling Auntie Lin in the group. Didn't we agree that supplies would be distributed uniformly? We've run out of food at home. Please distribute some to us. When she saw the message, Mrs. Lin laughed coldly. What a bunch of idiots. I've worked so hard to get this stuff. I can't give it away so easily. At that moment, the cell phone on his desk suddenly rang. When he saw that the caller ID was Chun Zhengqing, Mrs. Lin broke out in a cold sweat. Why is this guy looking for me? I heard Chun say in a cold voice on the other end of the line. Auntie Lin is really good at what she does. She tricked everyone into bringing their supplies to your home. Hearing this, Auntie Lin pretended to say, this is the arrangement of the neighborhood committee. She was just doing her job. Chun Zhenghao on the other end of the phone laughed. That's good. There are more than 10 of us here waiting for you to distribute the supplies. Auntie Lin coughed lightly. The supplies have not been coordinated yet. There are still some owners who haven't turned in their supplies. We can't distribute them uniformly yet. But the next moment, Chun Zhenghao and his boys broke in. Seeing this, Mrs. Lin's face turned pale with fear. How dare you trespass? Is there any law left? Chun Zhenghao slapped him in the face. You cheated everyone's supplies. Is there any law? Today I'm going to do justice. And I was so happy when I saw the scene from the surveillance camera. I ate a ham sausage. The dog-eat-dog scene is finally about to start. At this moment, I had the idea that it's better to be happy alone than to be happy together. In the spirit of seeing what's going on, I immediately sent the surveillance video to the owners group. I think everyone who saw this scene, I'm sure everyone's reaction will be very exciting. On the other hand, Chun Zhenghao has already brought his boys. He broke into Mrs. Lin's house. He ordered his men to take away all the food. Don't leave a single hair on the head. Upon hearing this, Auntie Lin hurriedly hugged Chen's leg. You can't take everything. I still have my own supplies here. Without them, how can my grandchildren and I live? Chun Zhenghao laughed and said, it's none of my business. Get lost. Then he kicked Auntie Lin out of the way. When my grandson saw this, he was stunned. Then he grabbed a knife to avenge his grandmother's death. Only to see. He stabbed the yellow-haired swallows with precision. The pain was so severe that he didn't care to move anything. He raised his leg and kicked the grandson away. Seeing the scene, a few punks laughed at the scene. When did you learn to kick? When did you practice your kicks? He kicked the little bastard away. Yellow hair ignored the pain of the swallows. He's just pretending to be handsome. I should have filmed this scene. At this moment, Mrs. Lin fell down in front of her grandson. Tiger. My grandson. Chun Zhenghao watched the scene but did not have the slightest sympathy. On the contrary, he said with disdain, this is what you get for cheating our neighbors. We're just doing justice for God. On the other side, many homeowners who saw this scene, they also clapped their hands and applauded. This is the way to deal with this kind of cheaters. That's right, if it weren't for Brother Ho. We can't do anything about these scoundrels. We really can't do anything about this kind of scoundrel. I laughed at the news. You guys really don't realize what the problem is. Chun Zhenghao can break into Mrs. Lin's house today. He can break into your house tomorrow. But none of this has anything to do with me. My 2-meter-thick anus. It's useless even if he comes with a tank. Soon Auntie Lin was asking for help in the homeowners group. Who has one at home? Just need anti-shock medication and antibiotics. My grandson was injured by Chen Zhengchao. Dr. Zhou urgently needs these drugs for his surgery. My eyes lit up when I heard that. Dr. Zhou was a savior in her last life. She was a savior. A packet of instant noodles in the bedroom can fetch $10,000. But the neighbors all rushed to get it. The rich kids even doubled the price to get this pack of instant noodles. But Mrs. Lin in the neighborhood, on the grounds that she's an official of the neighborhood committee, she asked everyone to hand in their family's belongings. Otherwise, it would be treated as a blatant violation of discipline. As a result, that night, Chen Zhenghao, the neighborhood bully, came to her door to do justice, and broke his grandson's 80 ribs. Luckily, Dr. Zhou, the district doctor, came to his rescue. She was able to save his grandson's life. At this moment, Mrs. Lin is in the owner's group. She's begging everyone for something. If anyone is willing to provide, he would kowtow and thank them. But this drew ridicule from the owners. Are you kowtowing in the group? Dr. Zhou saved your grandson's life. But why should we help you? You cheated us out of our supplies. And you have the nerve to beg us? I sighed when I saw this scene. Auntie Lin deserved what she got. Besides, it's been snowing for 2.5 months. The outside world is basically paralyzed. Even if the kid is rescued, without food, how long can we hold out? By now, the snow outside the neighborhood is almost submerged. 3 stories high. Many people have learned from the news. This is a global blizzard that won't be seen for 100,000 years. No one knows what this snowstorm will turn into in the end. Soon a week has passed by. The whole world has been flooded by the blizzard. In some cities in the north, temperatures have dropped to as low as 200 degrees below zero. Many evacuees heading south even froze to death on the road. At this time in the owner's group, Mrs. Lin has started her moral abduction again. My good grandson has been starving for 2.5 days. He's just a kid. Do you really want to see him die? She said she was willing to pay a high price for the supplies. The homeowners who saw the message started to raise the price. In the end, a pack of instant noodles was sold for 1,000 yuan. I laughed at the scene. These people really don't take the end of the world seriously. After a while, you'll think it's too hard to wipe your ass with paper money. As a rich kid with some business sense, Su Hao has started to hoard supplies at high prices. He knows it very well. Money in this post-apocalyptic world is like waste paper. He had to get rid of it as soon as he could. At this time, a single mom sent out a distress message to the group. She said she and her daughter were starving to death. She hoped everyone could help her. I smiled when I read the message. In her previous life, this woman had to carry her daughter for a long time. This Xiaomei is definitely not as simple as she seems. Soon, 10 days passed in a flash. I was as usual. I was bored at home, eating, drinking, and having fun. At that moment, the cell phone on the table rang. When I saw the caller ID, I let out a cold laugh. This bitch has finally gotten over it. In her previous life, she thought I was a bootlicker. She broke into my house with her men. Not only did she take all my supplies, she even ate the most important parts of my body. Now, I won't be fooled again. So I turned on the video and said "Egu" in a conspiratorial way. We haven't seen each other for a while. You've all lost weight. And the food behind me. The two of them were drooling all over the place. Why does Zhang Yi have so much food at home? Did you stock up last time? It's 100 degrees below zero. Why are you wiping sweat? I smiled when I heard that. I installed a fireplace at home. This thing is very hot. I want to go for a run. When I heard that, Fang Yujing immediately approached me to get closer to Zhang Yi. You're amazing. You're so well prepared. Can you let Yuqing take a bath at your home? I laughed inwardly. You still think I'm a dirty old man? So, I refused his invitation to a double row without even thinking about it. I even mocked him by saying that it's 100 degrees below zero. You have to take care of yourselves. Upon hearing this, Fang Yuqing was furious. Zhang Yi, don't go too far. We're freezing and starving. It's fine if you don't help us. And you're still talking smack. I laughed at that and thought I was an asshole. If you want to eat, go to your rich kid. Besides, we're not related to each other. Why should I help you? I hung up the video call in a handsome manner. On the other side, Fang Yuqing was already furious. He never thought. I've actually embarked on the path of bootlicker's rebellion. At this moment, my best friend came out and said something fair. Zhang Yi is a good guy. It's because you didn't seize the opportunity. You shouldn't have hung him up for 18 years in the first place. Now he's much better than that rich kid. If I knew you were no good, I would have done it myself. Now he's a bootlicker. There's nothing left for him. At this moment, Fang Yuqing was furious. Lin Caning, you bitch. You're still helping him with your sarcasm. I'll kill you. Soon the two bitches were fighting on the bed. At this time, the officials couldn't hide the news of the snowstorm any longer. So they made an announcement on TV. In order to satisfy everyone's demand for electricity, the power will be on from 1:0 to 2:0 every day for the rest of the year. But the voltage is only enough for small furniture. Now the power stations are closed. There's no electricity. I hope you'll use electricity conscientiously. We hope you'll use electricity sparingly to prevent large-scale power outages. Soon the homeowners group is buzzing again. Have you seen the news? It turns out that the rumors on the internet are true. Just when everyone was nervous, suddenly an old man came out to sell instant noodles. $5,000 a pack. Anyone want it? I couldn't help but laugh and cry at the scene, knowing that we're in a post-apocalyptic world, and you have to trade your life-saving supplies for this paper. Nowadays, eating is more important than anything else. When everyone can't have enough to eat, who cares about this paper? On the other hand, Fong Yuqing, who has played for 2.5 minutes, both of them have calmed down. Since the soft approach doesn't work, let's do it the hard way. Then Fong Yuqing picked up his cell phone. He called his bootlicker number 1 and said that I was trying to defile his innocence. I wanted to defile his innocence. Hearing this, Zhou Peng was furious on the spot. This Zhang Yi is really a bastard. If I don't kill him, I'll apologize for being the number 1 bootlicker. After seeing Zhou Peng fall for the trap, Fong Yuqing immediately went up to him. Peng, let's find a way to take over his house. Then we'll have a sweet double row together. Okay? Zhou Peng agreed without even thinking about it. But before that, they still need to prepare some weapons. It didn't take long. The 3 of them came to my door with a few kitchen knives. Zhou Peng put the knives behind him and knocked on the door. Knock on the door, Zhang Yi. Are you there? It's me, Zhou. I'm a coworker. Can you lend me some food? I'll trade you my birth control pills. Unbeknownst to you, this scene. I've been watching this scene from the CCTV. When I saw the weapons in their hands, I was about to explode with rage. You think you can kill me with just a few people? You think I'm sick and dying? You really think I'm sick? Then I immediately picked up a hose and connected it to the faucet. I'll give you guys a cold shower at 100 degrees below zero. At that moment, the fecal matter that had been accumulating for 2.5 days caught my eye. I had a plan. Then I took the hose to the door. Don't worry. I'll make sure everyone has enough to eat. They thought I was going to open the door. Immediately excitedly raised their weapons. But the next moment, a pile of excrement was sprayed on them through the window. Sprayed on them. Fong Yuqing smelled it right away. It was a pile of poop. She vomited right away. And Zhou Peng was so angry that he exploded. He was about to melt when he got closer. Zhang Yi, come out if you dare. I'll kill you. I laughed at his words. Don't say I didn't give you a chance. Come in if you have the guts. Upon hearing this, Zhou Peng angrily raised his knife in his hand. I'm going to kill you. Then he slashed at my front door. But nothing happened to the door. Instead, his hand was injured by the gate. I laughed at the scene. My 2-meter-thick super security door. Can't you just break it? You really don't know what you're doing. Besides, at home, I've got a Walmart warehouse full of supplies, and I'm not worried about them being outside. If I don't leave the house for 2.5 years, what are you going to do about it? Moe's sells a pack of instant noodles for $100,000. But the neighbors are rushing to get their hands on it. The rich kids are even willing to raise the price 10 times to get this pack of instant noodles. But some people, because of their own strength, they chose to rob the house. At that moment, the sound of a gunshot woke me up from my sleep. Although I knew that, after the end of the world, human nature will be exposed. I was still shocked by the sudden gunshot. How could someone have a gun in this neighborhood? So I hurriedly picked up the tablet and checked the surveillance camera. I saw Chen Zhenghao with his lackeys. He's been robbing houses all over the place. After the water supply went out, most residents would go out to dig up snow. They go out to dig up snow for water. Chen Zhenghao took advantage of this time. He went around looting supplies. Without supplies, even if you eat snow as food, it won't last long. After robbing the supplies Chen Zhenghao, he also remembered to give a warning to the owners group. The snow has blocked the city for so long. From now on, I, Chen Zhenghao, will be in charge of these 25 buildings. Anyone who dares to play tricks behind the scenes. That's what will happen. That's all. He also attached a few intimidating photos. Seeing this scene, couldn't help but sigh. Chen Zhenghao's thunderous approach. No wonder Mo Shiqian can make a name for himself in the society. But his bullets and men are limited after all. It's impossible to fight with the residents of the whole building. At that moment, I was dragged into a new group chat, only to see a bunch of owners in the group. They were denouncing Chen Zhenghao's actions, and said we must unite against this kind of bully. Even if he has a gun, he can't stop us. But when asked when they will do it, a few more smart people jumped out. They said that we have to think about this in the long run. After reading the news, I laughed. You're the ones who screamed the loudest. When it comes to going on, you guys are also the most cowardly. You're all just a bunch of mouth breathers. At this moment, Uncle Yu, a veteran, spoke up in the group. We can't let Chen Zhenghao to continue like this. Otherwise we'll all die sooner or later. If you're afraid, I can take the lead. Let's all follow me and revolt together. Uncle Yao's words have attracted the support of many homeowners. Some of them offered to support us with weapons. They offered a kitchen knife. Others are offering advice. They said Chen Zhenghao is just a cripple. Find a chance to sneak up on him from behind. Seeing that everyone is so supportive of Uncle Yao, continue to talk about Chen Zhenghao in the group. Apart from the pistol, there are 5 or 6 of them. They can't go alone. We need a dozen young men to be safe. Just when everyone was excited and ready to sign up, suddenly a woman said in the group, Auntie Lin is the one who cheated us out of our supplies. Who knows if you'll do the same? If you lead us to surrender, what will happen to the old, the weak, the women and the children? I won't agree. When I heard that, I want to slap her to death. In my past life, this woman was the one who started the confrontation between men and women. In the last days, you can't even trust veterans. Who else can you trust? The end of the world. A toy gun can conquer an entire building. But I have a whole arsenal hidden in my house. The neighborhood bullies came to my door to steal my supplies. But I shot his right foot right through with a 98K. After being defeated by me, Chen Zhenghao brought his lackeys with him. He went around robbing houses. He even threatened to take over this building from now on. The indignant Uncle Yao. He decided to lead a group of aspiring youths to revolt. But he was strongly opposed by a fairy. She even said that Uncle Yao didn't have the best intentions. Soon the owners of the building were divided into 2 factions. The radicals thought it was time to unite. Against Chen Zhenghao, the tortoise faction thinks Uncle Yao is a mole and a victim. Whoever wants to be the villain should be the villain. Watching both sides arguing for 2.5 hours, I couldn't help but sigh. It's exactly the same as in my previous life. In my previous life it was because these tortoise factions were passing the buck to each other. Most of the owners died under Chen Zhenghao's command. But what does this have to do with me eating corn, green pepper, tomato, chicken curry and rice? What's that got to do with it? On the other side, Chan Qingho is still robbing houses with his pistol. Even his own brothers are not spared. As long as someone dares to oppose, Chen Zhenghao would shoot him to death. But he knows in his heart, if it weren't for the gun in his hand, these lackeys might not listen to him. Then, he asked his men to collect all the bodies. When I saw the scene from the CCTV, I realized right away, this guy was planning to use these people as spare rations. I think it's time to find a chance to meet this guy. The next morning, the leader of the turtle faction, Sweet Lu, sent out a cry for help in the WeChat group. Everyone, come and save me. Isn't Uncle Lu a veteran? I'm sure he can beat them. Seeing the door behind the room crash more and more intense, Lu Sweet more anxious said something is wrong. None of you can escape. But as soon as he spoke, the door behind him was slammed open. Then he was dragged out like a dead dog. But he didn't get any sympathy. Instead, he got a lot of heckling from the radicals. I told you to be a coward. Now you've got your comeuppance. On the other side, when Fang Yuqing and her girlfriends saw the scene, they are also very nervous. If they don't do something, it'll be their turn soon. At this moment, Fang Yuqing had a plan. She must spread the news that Zhang Yi has stocked up a lot of supplies. Then we'll join forces to take over his house. So, soon I was dragged into a mutual aid group. I saw Fang Yuqing tweeting about Zhang Yi in the group. It's too dangerous for us to live separately. The security door of your house is very strong. We need a strong base. I hope you can join our group. And we need to be united now. Being left alone will soon be dealt with by Chen Zhenghao. After seeing the message, I laughed. You want to do the ritual trick again? So I replied with a nonchalant it's okay. I'm used to living alone. My 150 square foot, self-heated, self-powered shack. When I saw that, a few Buddhas popped up in the group chat. Don't be so short-sighted, Mr. Zhang. We have to stick together now. Fang Yuqing also chimed in. Saving a life is better than building a 7-story pagoda. You can save 7 people now. That's a 48-story pagoda. As a result, the message they got in response was that I quit the group. This made Fang Yuqing and the others freeze in place on the spot. When did this dead bootlicker evolve into a cool guy? Soon after, they started discussing strategies. How to take down my security fortress. The man with glasses said, as long as everyone is well protected, and then force the door, and we'll get it in one fell swoop. The guy with the mane said yes. And I used to work for a locksmith company for 2.5 years. I can open 101% of the locks on the market. So the guys agreed. They came to my door and started picking the lock. And they had a couple of umbrellas to protect me from the 100-degree cold water. In the end, the middle-haired boy picked the lock for half a day. He found that he didn't even pick the lock of my house. I watched this scene in front of the camera. Inside, I was laughing coldly. My 5-layer reinforced security door is comparable to the security level of a bank vault. Even an ordinary locksmith can't pick it. Then I activated the high-voltage defense function. The next second, a high-voltage electricity spreads all over the brown furry boy's body. The brown furry boy was electrocuted and his face was hideous. Help me! Help me! Help me! The powerful electric current is like a pincer, biting him to death. Soon, The brown-haired boy fell to the ground with black smoke coming out of his body. Fang Yuqing was dumbfounded. The absorption of high-voltage electricity. Brownie's hand was still stuck to the door. When I saw the scene, I didn't feel guilty at all. In my last life, these people had eaten one of my cells at least once. At this time, the eye-boy pointed at the door and cursed Zhang Yi. You damned animal. Get the hell out of here. We're here to talk to you. How could you kill someone? Now you've electrocuted Lu Tao. Shouldn't you give us an explanation? I laughed at that. You've come to break down my door? What are your intentions? I don't need to tell you. Then I shook my head. I loaded my 98K. Isn't it good to be alive? The next second, an arrow shot out from the small window of the doorway. It struck Glass's left arm squarely. Seeing this situation, Zhou Peng rushed to help Glasses to help him. They didn't expect me to be so ruthless. I wanted to kill them right away, but they've just taken a few steps. 2 more arrows shot out of the window. They hit Zhou Peng and another neighbor. They hit Zhou Peng and another neighbor. Seeing this, Fang Yuqing and the 3 women took the lead and ran away. They were afraid that they would be stabbed if they were late. After returning to the house, the 3 who were hit by the arrow were lying on the ground, wailing. In this cold weather, if not treated in time, the wounds will become necrotic. In addition, this sword is the legendary tetanus sword. Without antibiotics and other medicines, then they can only wait for death. Just thinking about this, Glass's boy regretted to death. He shouldn't have acted like such a pussy. At this time, Zhou Peng's cousin Wang Ming walked up to Fang Yuqing. She slapped him directly in the face. It's all your fault. This bitch caused you all to suffer. Didn't you say Zhang Yi's house only has a strong door? Why is there a 98K? No wonder you were so far away. Did you already know? Then he slapped Fang Yuqing in the face. Fang Yuqing covered her face. I didn't know. The last time we went there, he didn't even use it. Zhou Peng rushed forward. Fang Yuqing's back. Cousin. Stop. Yuqing didn't do it on purpose. I can testify for her. Watching my cousin evolve from a bootlicker to the king of bootlickers, Wang Min looked like he hated him. He didn't realize that he was the fastest runner just now. Now in this situation, we can only call Dr. Zhou in the neighborhood to help. 2.5 minutes later, Dr. Zhou came to Wang Min's house. She examined the wounds. But when he saw the wounds, he was surprised. This is the same as the wound Chun Zhenghao's wounds some time ago. They were all sword wounds. Then Zhou Kur said, this wound is too deep. Without professional equipment to operate, the success rate is less than 20%. Plus the iron sword is rusty everywhere. Without antibiotic medication, I'm afraid we'll have to wait for the banquet. Hearing this, Wang Min burst into tears. He grew up with Zhou Peng. They were very close. Then he fell to his knees. Dr. Zhou, you must find a way to save my cousin. He's my only son. Zhou Kur turned her head and said, without medication, pulling out the arrow rashly, the consequences will only get worse. I hope you can understand. At this moment, Fang Yuqing walked up. I remember a month ago. Someone sent a shipment of medicine to Zhang Yi's home. There must be a lot of antibiotics. Why don't we ask him to give us some? Just now. Fang Yuqing recalled. I've been stockpiling supplies before the snowstorm, including a lot of medical supplies. There must be antibiotics and other medicines in it. At that, Glasses looks excited. Really? Then go find Zhang Yi. He did this to me. He must be responsible for my injuries. But Wang Min said, we were almost killed by him just now. How could he possibly save our lives with medicine? Hearing this, Fang Yuqing was indifferent. We just want to take over his house. We didn't hurt him. Besides, we're the ones who got hurt. We're the righteous ones. With these words, Zhou Ku was speechless. You guys deserve to be shot at. Wang Min suddenly pointed at Fang Yuqing. She said in a loud voice that the matter of the drug. I'll leave it to you. Zhang Yi has courted you before. He shouldn't be willing to help you. King of bootlickers Zhou Peng also chimed in and said, that's right. Yuqing, I'm sorry for your trouble this time. Only when my sword is healed, I can protect you. At that, Fang Yuqing could only agree with her head. But thinking about the attitude of bootlickers on the shore, he's not sure what to do. The only thing he can do now is to make a phone call. He could only make a phone call first. Soon he dialed my number. Then he called me and said, Zhang Yi, Lu Tao and Zhou Peng are dying. Can you help them? When I heard that, I laughed and said so be it. They'll die sooner or later anyway. Now they're just a couple of Buddhas. They can go to see Buddha beforehand. Besides, you don't think you can survive this snowstorm, do you? Now that the snow has blocked the city, this building has become an island. Once the existing supplies are depleted, even if you don't starve, you'll be killed by Chun Zhenghao. At that, Fang Yuqing cried and said, Zhang Yi, I know I'm wrong. It's all my fault. I let you down. But I've come to my senses now. Can you forgive me? Zhou Peng and the others were shot by you. Without medicine, they won't last 2.5 days. At this moment, Wang Min grabbed Fang Yuqing's cell phone. Zhang Yi, Don't be so heartless. Don't be too heartless. We'll meet again in the future. Maybe in the future. You may still have a chance to use us. I laughed at that. Guess what? Why did I shoot them with a tetanus arrow? I never thought I'd see you again. Besides, how do I know? How do I know you're not going to turn on me all of a sudden? Upon hearing this, Wang Min hastened to argue that it's impossible. We're all good citizens. I cut him off. We don't want to take over other people's houses. But it's not impossible to help you. Since I've been pleasing Fang Yuqing for 18 years, I'll consider letting him come alone. When I heard that, Fang Yuqing grabbed the cell phone with excitement. I'm willing to let you take care of her from now on. You can do whatever you want. Lin Kaining is also excited and came up to me. Take me with you. But Fang Yuqing slapped Lin Kaining's hand away. Mr. Zhang Yi named me. I'm the only one who's coming. You just stay here. As soon as he said that, Wang Min slapped him in the face. You bitch. You've caused us all so much trouble. And now you want to walk away? No way. The king of bootlickers Zhou Peng was also surprised. Yuqing. How could you do this to me? Didn't you say you hate Zhang Yi the most? You want to be my woman? At those words, Fang Yuqing immediately unleashed his full CPU nerves. Is it wrong for me to pursue a better life? I'll stay with you guys. When the supplies run out, we'll all have to wait for death. Zhou Peng loves someone. Doesn't he want to see him live a happy life? Although you did give me a few bags of supplies. But Zhang Yi has a Walmart hidden in his house. At those words, a pure licking god of war in the world collapsed to the ground. Before the battle of love has even begun. He lost the battle of love before it even started. And Fang Yuqing turned around and left without looking back. At that moment, Lin Kaining jumped on him and fell to the ground. Why do you get all the benefits? Wang Ming pointed at Fang Yuqing and cursed at her. You only think of yourself. She doesn't think of everyone. We're not doing well. You won't be happy either. When Zhou Qier saw them biting each other's dogs, he was also speechless. But he still kindly reminded, the wound is only temporarily treated. Without medication, you have to prepare for the banquet. Hearing this, Glasses Boy had an idea. I have a way to deal with Zhang Yi. From the video he sent us, his family has plenty of supplies. Now we just need to tell the whole neighborhood. We just need to tell everyone in the neighborhood. If we can't deal with him, someone else can. We'll get a piece of the action behind the scenes. Heard that. But Fang Yuqing is getting anxious. Don't be so shameless. How can I play double row with Mr. Zhang Yi? As soon as she said that, Wang Min raised her hand and was about to hit you. You bitch! How dare you be so righteous? Just in the nick of time, Zhou Peng stepped in front of Fang Yuqing. Stop. I really love Yuqing. I'll use time to impress her. Sooner or later, Yuqing will fall in love with me. Then he looked at Fang Yuqing with a confident look. Don't be afraid. I'm here. Wang Min was so angry. She almost wanted to smack the son of a bitch, but it's better to get down to business first. Soon after, he posted some food photos on the owners group. We're all so poor we can only eat bark. But Zhang Yi can eat a lot of fish and meat all the time. Do you think that's fair? After seeing the news, Chen Zhenghao, he drooled all over the floor. He's got so many goodies at home. It's a good time to avenge old grudges and new ones at the same time. In a post-apocalyptic world, everyone can only go out to dig ice cream to eat. But someone hid me. A Walmart was announced to the group. The homeowners group. The group of homeowners who learned of the incident. Some of them went all moralistic. They want me to distribute the supplies to everyone. Some of them asked me to become a father for the sake of food. They asked me to become a father. There are even people gave away more than $1 billion in assets just to be able to live in my house. I laughed when I read the news. Why? I know you very well. Why do I have to share my goods with you? Just because you're all the Buddha of Leshan? When I think of these guys breaking into my house in my past life and turn me into feces, I'm pissed off. Now the tide has turned. This time, I'm gonna kill you all. After seeing my reply, Glasses Boy and the others were dumbfounded. Zhang Yi is so arrogant. Isn't he afraid that we'll attack him? When the others saw me being so insensitive, they all accused me in the group. If it wasn't for your secret stockpiling of supplies, we wouldn't be living in such misery. You must atone for your sins. Donate the supplies and share them with the others. Besides, what's the point of living alone? Young people have to be dedicated. Watching them talk about each other. I didn't want to talk to them anymore. Then I looked out the window at the snow. It's boring to stay at home every day. I think I need to go out sometime. It just so happens I've got a couple of snowmobiles hidden in my alien space. When I've finished with these people, I can go out and see. How's the world outside? At that moment, I suddenly received a message on my cell phone. Dr. Zhou Qier sent me a message asking for help. Mr. Zhang, our family's medicine and supplies. We've run out of medication and supplies. After seeing the message, my mind, Zhou Qier's face instantly appeared in my mind. The reason why she perished in her last life was because she gave her last food. She gave her last food to Xiaolimei and her daughter. But I didn't immediately agree to her request for help, although I had a good impression of her in my last life. But the more beautiful the woman, the more dangerous. It's hard to live again. I don't want to die under the hands of a woman again. I won't offer my help until I'm sure he's 100% trustworthy. I won't provide help easily. So I replied that it's not impossible to get the supplies. But you have to give me something in exchange. After seeing the message, Zhou Kuo immediately said, he could be my personal medical assistant. If I still do not agree to him, he had to sacrifice something else. But I didn't agree to his conditions. Instead, I said I can provide you with medicine and food. But you must do me a favor. The neighbors will soon be unable to hold out. And when they do, they're going to take action. I need you to be my eyes and ears, to get their plan of action. So the choice is yours. You can continue to go with the flow. You can stay on the sidelines. Or you can betray them. Surrender to me. Zhou Kuo immediately fell silent after seeing the news. If he chooses me, he must unite with me, facing the owners of the whole building. And what he doesn't know is, my home. I've built a fortress of steel. Even if they drove a tank, they couldn't break in. The only reason I did this is just to find an excuse to test him. At this moment, Glasses sent me an ultimatum. Zhang Yi, I'm going to ask you one more time. Are you going to hand over your supplies or not? When I saw the message, I smiled coldly. This guy is still on his face. Then I replied with a smile on my face. Even if I feed my family's food to the pigs, I wouldn't give you any of it. This statement made the spectacled guy gritted his teeth. You Zhang Yi, how dare you talk back when you're about to die? You brought this on yourself. Don't say we didn't give you a chance. Soon a group chat was set up to criticize me. Chen Zhenghao swore in it and said, don't worry, everyone. I only need half of the supplies for this operation. After I get the supplies, I swear I won't do anything to you. Glasses also agreed. Let's put aside our old grudges for the time being. Our primary goal now is to take down Zhang Yi in one go. On the other side, Zhou Kuo, after thinking it over, she finally agreed to my terms. He knows very well, in this post-apocalyptic world, if he doesn't have a big leg to stand on, he can't rely on a woman alone for long. Soon after, I received a reminder from Zhou Kuo and Uncle Yu. Glasses and his gang decided to attack at 2:30 tonight. I'm not panicked at all. I'm just curious. I was just curious about what these idiots would do. At this time, Zhou Kuo sent another message. They've gone crazy. Why don't you do something? After seeing the message, I laughed. Then I glanced at the fire unicorns. A few fire unicorns sitting next to me. All the fear comes from the lack of firepower. Then I replied, you don't have to worry about this. Remember, don't follow me on this mission. I will only remind you once. Then I picked up my Desert Eagle. You just wait to see a good show. Soon it was 2:30 in the morning. A group of people with weapons. They were coming towards my house. This time, I'm going to kill Zhang Yi's shameless selfishness. Soon the corridor in front of my house was surrounded by Chen Zhenghao's gang. Zhang Yi, get out of there, or else I'll hit you with my hammer. I'll be too late. I laughed when I saw the scene from the surveillance camera. Using Chen Zhenghao as cannon fodder, you should at least have an iron hammer. What's with the mallet? I'm not going to be polite to them. I'll just activate the high-voltage device. The young man with the mallet was just about to hit the door. In the next second, a high-voltage electricity sweeps through his body instantly. Along with a couple of youngsters behind him, were also electrified. In just 2.5 seconds, several people were electrocuted and burnt to a crisp. A stream of black smoke rose. Seeing this scene, the others were stunned. They wanted to run away. But just as they turned around, they were stopped by Chen Zhenghao's gang behind them. Chen Zhenghao picked up his pistol. He pointed it at a man's head and said, the will to be trapped in the battlefield. There is no life without death. Keep breaking down the door. I don't believe that his high voltage can last for a year. Don't hide supermarkets in the bedroom. Otherwise, the whole neighborhood will come and buy it for free. In order to take over my house, Chen Zhenghao encouraged the owners of the neighborhood to dig up my front door all night. But when they arrived at the door, I unleashed high-voltage electricity to numb more than a dozen people. Seeing this scene, many homeowners became discouraged. Glasses, as the mastermind, immediately went forward and encouraged everyone not to be afraid. We must avenge the death of our compatriots. This time we change a longer wood. It will not conduct electricity. As long as we work together to break through this iron door. Waiting for us inside, a cozy fireplace and an endless supply of food. With the encouragement of Cobalt, the residents who wanted to leave. All of a sudden, the residents who had wanted to leave suddenly became very motivated. Then they picked up a 2.5-meter stake. They kept banging on the door of my house. For a bite of food. They all tried their best to get a bite. Listening to the rhythmic banging sound, I got interested too. So, I immediately took out a large speaker from my closet. Since everyone is working so hard, I'll play you a song to cheer you up. When we heard the war song, our neighbors, all of a sudden they were like chicken blood. They banged on the door harder and harder. But after half an hour of pounding, they fell to the ground, panting. What kind of anus is this? After half a day of banging, there's only a small trace left on it. I'm afraid it won't be opened for 2.5 years. At this time, a man with glasses who works in a bank came forward. At a glance, he could see. This is a bank vault security door. This kind of security door, not to mention using wood to hit it. Even a tank couldn't break it. Hearing this, several people were shocked. So there's no way to open this anus? The man with glasses sighed. Without a key. Unless you can find the world's best locksmith, it is possible to open. While he was talking about it, I already took my 98K to the door. You're a professional. Then I shot out an arrow. After seeing the glasses man hit by the arrow, the owners who came to the door panicked. Zhang Yi is armed. Damn it. Glasses and Chun Zhenghao didn't tell us. Then they all ran for their lives to the outside of the building. But the corridor was already crowded with people. They couldn't move at all. Soon, a few neighbors who were too slow to run were shot to pieces. Looking at the neighbors falling on the ground, I didn't feel guilty. Since you want me dead, I don't have to be polite to you people. At that moment, Chun Zhenghao held a pistol. He blocked the neighbors who wanted to escape. He just kept on banging on the door by himself. The neighbors could not run away. They couldn't either. At this moment of stalemate, Glasses Boy had an idea. Don't panic. I've got an idea. Although Zhang Yi's anus is thick, but this wall are not made of concrete and bricks. I don't believe we can't break it. At that, the neighbors suddenly understand. That's right, there are so many of us. In less than half an hour, we're sure to break down his wall. After that, some neighbors immediately put their energy into it. They were hammering away at the wall, and Glasses kept on encouraging the neighbors. As long as you are strong. As soon as he was on maternity leave, as expected, not a moment later, the wall has begun to crack. Seeing this situation, a big man hit the wall with his hammer even harder. The next moment, there was a sound of metal hitting metal. This hammer shocked the big man's arm numbness. At this time, the Glasses Boy came forward and let out a cry of surprise. Shit. This wall is actually made of steel plate. Hearing this, several big men were shocked. Is this guy an idiot? Who builds walls with steel plates? But they still don't believe it. They pounded on the corners of the wall, hoping to find a hole in the wall. Seeing the scene, but I laughed really embarrassed. The outer wall of my house is reinforced with 1/2 meter of adamantine material. Not to mention you hammers. I'm not afraid of a cannonball. Soon the neighbors realized. I know the end is coming. That's why I built such a strong fortress. Spectacle Boy became more and more angry. He knew there would be a snowstorm. This selfish little man only thinks about himself. He doesn't care about the lives of the people. Some people couldn't bear the despair. They fell to the ground and cried. At this time, Chun Zhenghao came out from the crowd. What are you crying for? The walls of his house are made of adamantium. What about the ceiling and floor? Let's split up and start the demolition. I don't believe Zhang Yi can build a turtle shell. The neighbors have renewed their confidence. They came to my house and started hammering away. I laughed when I saw this scene from the security camera. Chun Zhenghao still has some brains. But not much. After half a day of hammering, they fell into despair again. I didn't realize that I really made the house. I really made the house a reinforced turtle shell. Nowadays, without chainsaws and drills, unless they hammer for 2.5 years without food or water, it's impossible to break through this wall. When I think of this neighbor, his stomach growled. He hadn't eaten for 2 days. And he wasted so much energy hammering on this broken wall. Now he just wants to eat meat. At the thought of eating meat, an idea suddenly came to his mind. Then he looked at his neighbor. He had a mouthful of saliva. But they looked at each other. After guessing each other's thoughts, they turned their heads in embarrassment. And the Glasses Boy is holding his head with a look of despair. Do we really have to wait for death in this post-apocalyptic world? That bastard Zhang Yi is so cruel. Why can't he sacrifice himself to make everyone happy? At this moment, a smart guy with glasses suddenly appeared. I remember when Zhang Yi was renovating his house. Zhang Yi made the balcony a floor-to-ceiling window. Maybe we can break in through the balcony. Upon hearing this, everyone's hope is renewed. That's right. I don't believe Zhang Yi will seal up the windows. Then we all agreed on a plan. They set up wooden planks and went to my balcony. Soon they were outside my window. They were screaming with their teeth and claws. Zhang Yi, you better open the door yourself. Otherwise, we'll break in and you'll know the consequences. Upon hearing this, I was calmly sipping my coffee. You don't think you're smart, do you? Besides, who says glass is necessarily more fragile than metal? And so it was. They've been knocking for days. They found no sign of the floor-to-ceiling window. All they could do was rage outside the window. Naturally, I didn't intend to let them off so easily. Then I went to the kitchen without slowing down. Then I picked up a homemade flask. Since you're so cold, I'll warm you up. After that, I put the flask into a small window in the room. The next moment, a hole appeared in the ceiling of the balcony. By the time they saw the flask, it was too late. Soon the flames were all over one of the neighbors. The burning sensation made him wail. He couldn't stand the pain any longer. He jumped off the balcony. The neighbors finally realized that they were sorry. A few neighbors finally realized that they regretted. They were lying on the glass, begging for mercy. I decided to give them another one. In a previous life you made me into feces. But you never repented. They had no choice but to go back the way they came. They had no choice but to go back the way they came. They tried to get help from the people behind them, but they were stopped by Glasses and his gang. Get the hell out of here. Don't bring the flames here to get us into trouble. Then they took a mallet and hit the first one twice. The man fell from the building with a wail. Soon those who had no way out were burned to black charcoal in the fire. Facing this scene, Glasses and his gang didn't show any pity. Instead, they all went over to the fire to warm themselves. The neighbors who were half-starved, no longer arrogant and domineering, they dropped their weapons. Then they crossed the balcony and came to my window again. Zhang Yi, we were wrong. We just want to eat. Please save us. We'll do whatever you want us to do from now on. Listening to the pleading voices outside the window, I sighed. Don't be like this. It's hard for me to watch. I have a strange habit. Whenever I feel bad, I want to eat. That's all. I sucked on the noodles in the bowl. This scene. The people outside the window were drooling. It would be nice to have a bowl of soup. I know that in this post-apocalyptic world, only the hearts of the people are unpredictable. But now I have a better plan. Then I said to the people outside the window, of course, I, Zhang Yi, am not a heartless person who sees death and saves lives. I'll give you a chance. As long as you can bring me Chun Zhenghao's head, I'll feed you for a week. Upon hearing this, they all looked at Chun Zhenghao in the next building. They looked at Chun Zhenghao in the next building. Right now Chun Zhenghao is in their eyes. Chun Zhenghao is a roasting chicken in their eyes. If they got him, they'd be able to eat and drink for a week. Looking at the unsuspecting gazes of the others, Chun Zhenghao felt a tightness in his heart. The feeling that there are always unruly people who want to harm me came over him. He didn't wait to think about it. Several people rushed towards him. But under the threat of Chun Zhenghao's pistol, they didn't dare to act rashly. At that moment, Chun Zhenghao received. I've issued a wanted notice in the owner's group. If you can kill Chun Zhenghao, you'll get a week's worth of food. When he saw the message, Chun Zhenghao ran away. He finally realized why everyone's eyes were not. Early the next morning, several neighbors had already set up a formation, ready to ambush Chun Zhenghao. Although Chun Zhenghao had a pistol, but his bullets are limited. Besides, my safe house is solid as gold. It's impossible for them to break through. After several attempts, they've already lost 40 to 50 men in action. Instead of starving like this, sooner or later they'll all die. It's better to find a chance on Chun Zhenghao's cripple. To find a chance. At this moment, Chun Zhenghao is scolding two of his boys to go out and dig for ice cream. He knows very well in his heart. He's now the fat lamb in the eyes of all the owners. Everything must be done quickly. At this moment, two neighbors who had been in ambush for a long time, they attacked directly with kitchen knives. Seeing this situation, the two boys were scared. Be careful behind. But it was already too late. Two neighbors with red eyes and kitchen knives. They were already behind him, but he shot them down twice. Chun Zhenghao was gasping for breath, if not for his quick reaction. Otherwise, his men would have been able to eat tonight. Then Chun asked his men to drag the two corpses home. He was worried about having nothing to eat. And these two bastards came to our doorstep. At that moment, one of my boys shouted out in alarm. Look behind you. Turns out that although Chun Zhenghao had just knocked them down in time, two people, he still got a long cut from the chopper. Afterwards, Chun told his boys to help him back to his room. He called Dr. Zhou to come to his home to treat his wound. A few moments later, Dr. Zhou came to Chun Zhenghao's home carrying a medicine box. I'd like to make it clear beforehand. I can't help you for free. Heard that? Chun Zhenghao smiled. That's natural food. I'll share it with you. Then he said. He asked his boys to bring over a bowl of phoenix claws with oil bones. However, when Zhou Qir saw the food, he was nauseated. He naturally knew what was in that basin. So he said he'd rather die than eat this kind of food. Chun Zhenghao on the other side smiled lewdly. I don't want you to die. He naturally knew that. Nowadays Mo can't imagine how important it is to have a doctor by your side. After saying that, Chun Zhenghao reached out to touch Zhou Qir's cheeks. Don't worry, I'll save you for last. Seeing this situation, Zhou Qir hurriedly slapped away his hand. Please respect yourself, Mr. Chun. Then she was about to turn around and leave, but she was stopped by the two boys behind her. Why is Dr. Zhou in such a hurry to leave? Before my injury heals, you must stay here. Then, Chun Zhenghao began to discuss the plan with his boys. Since I put a bounty on him, Chun Zhenghao has become Everyone wants to eat him. We have to solve this hidden problem as soon as possible. So, Chen Zhenghao and his gang decided to move next door to my house, watching in shifts. They're waiting for me to go out and kill me. Zhou Ku, who overheard their conversation, immediately got up, pretended to go to the toilet, but he was in the bathroom. He told me what they were talking about. I asked him to stay there and observe the situation. Soon there was a knock on the door of the man with glasses next door to me. Then, Chen Zhenghao and his gang waltzed in. After learning that they were staying here, the glasses man and his wife didn't dare to say anything. They had already prepared the last of their food in advance. They've already hid the remaining food on their bodies in advance. There are so many empty apartments in this building. They could live in any one of them. But just then, the two boys hit the couple in the back of the head. The couple collapsed in a pool of blood. Chen Zhenghao smiled cruelly. I did it for their own good. The weather is so cold. They'll freeze to death sooner or later. Besides, we have to stock up on food. Isn't that right, Dr. Zhou? Men are the last bootlickers in a post-apocalyptic world. For a mouthful of food, for a bite of food, they'd sell their women. But for the sake of a good home for his goddess, he actually chose to sell himself. At Wang Min's house, Glasses Boy and the three of them are lying on the sofa, wailing. Since the last failed attack on my house, their plan to seize the medication has also failed. Now, without antibiotics and other medication, the wounds of the three of them have begun to pus. A disgusting stench wafts throughout the hall. Seeing this situation, Glasses Boy was scared to death. He had just graduated and was looking for a job. He didn't want to die so early. Zhou Peng's wounds were the same as the others. If it's an ordinary wound, it's not so bad. But my sword is a tetanus sword. Without antibiotics, their wounds will only get worse. At that moment, Zhou Peng ran to Wang Min, cousin. Please beg Zhang Yi for us again. Otherwise, we'll all die. But Wang Min waved her hand. There's nothing I can do. Zhang Yi is always on the ball. On the other hand, Chen Zhenghao has been given a bounty order. Chen Zhenghao has started to feel uneasy. He's even afraid that he'll be beaten up by his boys in the middle of the night. He was afraid that his boys would beat him up. So he relied on meat and pistols. He threatened some residents to join his camp. When they heard there was food, a lot of people volunteered to join in. I laughed when I saw the scene from the CCTV. Chan Xingho, even if you have more people in your camp, but after running out of food, what do you think they will do? Then I picked up my cell phone and called Zhou Ku'er. I asked him what the situation was. I heard Zhou Ku'er reply with a tense face. Chen Zhenghao's group has gone crazy. They've already eaten all the food. They're about to start looting homes. Over the past few days, many neighbors have become feces in their mouths. Then he begged, can you help me? I haven't eaten for 2.5 days. I haven't eaten for 2.5 days. I won't last much longer. I paused when I heard that. Zhou Ku'er is the chief surgeon of a nearby tertiary hospital. Doctors are hard to find in this post-apocalyptic world. We can't let him die so easily. So I replied, don't worry. After this last job, I'll make sure you'll be able to feed and clothe yourself. Hearing this, Zhou Ku'er froze. Really want to do that thing? At that moment, there was a knock on my door. Zhou Peng said hysterically, Zhang Yi, you shrinking turtle. Get out of here. Qing'er is starving to death. And you're still hiding in there? Are you a man? When I heard that, I laughed. What time is it now? I'd like to call you the last bootlicker of the last days. So I said lightly, what time is it now? You're still thinking about Fang Yuqing. Why don't you think about yourself? According to your current condition, the tetanus bacillus has spread all over your body. Even if I give you antibiotics, it's useless. I remember you've been trying to impress for so many years. You haven't even held Fang Yuqing's hand, right? Instead of waiting here to die, why don't you do everything you want to do? At those words, Zhou Peng suddenly understood. In the end of the world, even the angels in white clothes will become demons. After 2.5 days of starvation, she finally couldn't help but finish the job for me, although she was extremely reluctant. But in order to survive, she had to do it. After some decision-making, Zhou Ku'er pretended to join Chen Zhenghao's camp. She said she wanted to help in the kitchen. Chen Zhenghao laughed heartily at the news. She hasn't eaten for 2.5 days. I knew you wouldn't be able to resist. It's good to be alive. At those words, Zhou Ku'er turned her head and said, you're right. I don't want to die either. So I have to accept reality. After saying that, Zhou Ku'er went into the kitchen and started to work. She picked up an axe. She pretended to chop wood. At that moment, my brother suddenly had an emergency. He asked Zhou Ku'er to watch the fire and then turned to leave. Seeing this situation, Zhou Ku'er knew the opportunity had finally come. But what he didn't expect was, these guys were not prepared for him. Then he took out a potion. Trembling, he poured it into the soup. Then, he stirred the meat and bones in the soup. A moment later, Zhou Ku'er gave Chen Zhenghao the finished soup, and gave it to Chen Zhenghao one by one. In order not to be suspected, he also gave himself a big bowl. Seeing this situation, Chen Zhenghao was so proud that he didn't expect it. Our white angel has become a devil in the end. Zhou Kuer didn't say another word. Silently carried the broth back to her room. Then he waited for the medicine to take effect. He poured a whole kilogram of sleeping pills into the pot. This kind of sleeping pill. One can make a person sleep for 2.5 hours. One caddy is enough for them to sleep for the rest of their lives. As expected. Soon Chen Zhenghao and his gang collapsed in the living room. They fell into a deep sleep. Seeing this situation, Zhou Kuer was relieved. It seems these guys didn't notice anything unusual. Then he sent me a message, asking what to do next. I didn't say anything. I told him to drag them to the balcony. On the other hand, after listening to my words, finally decided to show his manhood to Yuqing. He returned home. He found Fang Yuqing. Then he fell on his knees. This scared Fang Yuqing half to death. She thought he was going to do something. But Zhou Peng said with a gentle face, Yuqing, will you marry me? Before Zhou Peng could finish his sentence, I slapped him in the face. Get lost. You stink. I don't like guys like you. Hearing this, Zhou Peng was heartbroken. Straight away, he grabbed Fang Yuqing's neck. I don't believe it. You love me. Let's go to heaven together. Then we can be together forever. But he was greeted by another big pussy pocket. Who are you? You're not even a spare tire for me. I still have to find my brother Zhang Yi. These words were like the last straw that broke the camel's back. It sent Zhou Peng into pervert mode. Bitch, it's all because of you that I've become so miserable. I want you dead, woman. A caddy of sleeping pills was put in the broth. But the men ate happily. Just because they fell asleep. They dreamed of everything. And so it was. When they woke up, they all ate popsicles that were 100 degrees below zero. Turns out, in order to prove her worth to me, she finally let go of her dignity as a doctor. She mesmerized Chen Zhenghao and his gang at my request. And then at my request, she dragged them to the balcony one by one. Seeing that Chen Zhenghao and his gang were all there, I smiled coldly. You've finally fallen into my hands, right? When Zhou Kuer saw me grinning, she asked with a nervous face, are you planning to kill them all? I smiled. I threw a piece of hemp rope directly over. You guessed wrong. You're the one who made the move, not me. Search Chen Zhenghao's gun now. Throw it to me. Then tie them up on the railing. Hearing this, Zhou Kuer hesitated. If he were to kill someone, he didn't know if he could do it. Without waiting for him to think about it, I pointed my pistol at him. There's only one chance. If you miss it, it won't come again. Seeing that I didn't look like I was joking, Zhou Kuer had to follow my orders. Tied up Chen Zhenghao and his men. Then he found the pistol. He found the pistol he used to pretend to be a pimp. At that moment, I pointed the pistol directly at Zhou Kuer's head. I removed the magazine of the pistol and threw it over. Hearing this, Zhou Kuer looked hesitant. How do I know you won't suddenly turn your back on me? But I laughed. Do you have any other choice now? In this extreme weather, without my help, you won't last long. At that, Zhou Kuer had to follow my instructions to remove the magazine. Then she threw the pistol at me. After getting the pistol, I carefully scrutinized it. After confirming that it was the same pistol used by Chen Zhenghao, I turned around and went back to my room. I took out a hose and opened the valve. I opened the valve. I bared it at Chen Zhenghao's gang. Zhou Kuer was shocked when she saw this scene. This method of turning people into popsicles alive is cruel to the extreme. Soon Chen Zhenghao, who was sleeping soundly, was woken up on the spot. A few of his buddies, also by the cold water of 100 degrees below zero, screamed repeatedly. Looking at his bound hands and feet, Chen Zhenghao realized he was drugged. Then he turned his head to look at me fiercely. Zhang Yi, you're despicable. I laughed at his words. How dare you call me despicable? It's time to send you on your way. I opened the valve again. The next second, a thick column of water was bared towards them. After 2.5 minutes, I stopped spraying water. In this cold weather, no one can last 3 minutes in 100 degrees below zero. As expected, Chern and his men had already been frozen into popsicles. At that moment, Zhou Kuer received a call from me. You did a good job. You passed the test. After hanging up the phone, Zhou Kuer directly collapsed in, although he finally survived. But he's no longer a white angel. The cold and ascetic Dr. Zhou finally moved into my home. But the first thing he did was to reveal himself to my eyes. It turns out that just now, Zhou Kuer, under my instruction, successfully proved her worth. And I didn't go back on my word. I decided to let him live in my home. A few moments later, Zhou Kuer carefully came to my front door. Although from the surveillance camera, he wasn't carrying any dangerous items. But I didn't dare to take it lightly. So I picked up my pistol. I pointed it at the door and said coldly that the door was unlocked. You can come in now. Hearing this, Zhou Kuer pushed open the heavy steel door with a nervous face. When he came in, I immediately locked the door. Zhou Kuer collapsed on the floor. At this moment, a long-lost feeling of warmth continuously filled his whole body. although Jokur knew that I had a good life. But she didn't expect it to be this good. In addition to plenty of food. There's even a fireplace for heating. Compared to the -100-degree weather outside. Inside is a warm paradise. But just when he was about to fall in love, I pressed my pistol against his back. Dr. Chow, don't wait to enjoy yourself. You don't think it's that easy. Pass my test, right? There is still one last thing to do. That is to prove to me that you are harmless. Since you've chosen to unite with me, shouldn't we be honest with each other? Jokur naturally knew what I was talking about. So she took off her jacket, showing her body to me. Naturally, I didn't have time to admire it. After seeing that she didn't hide any harmful weapons, I handed over a towel. You've worked hard these days. Go take a hot bath first. You stink to high heaven. Hearing this, Jokur couldn't help but vomit inwardly. You think everyone is like you? Life is better than before the end of the world. Soon. Inside the bathroom came the sound of showering. I was in the hall, tinkering with the medical kit Jokur brought over, like syringes and other things. I put them all in the alien space for her. Although we've been honest with each other. But it's better to be cautious. 2.5 hours later, Jokur came out of the bathroom. She came out of the bathroom. Her wet hair was strewn behind her. There was a kind of shocking beauty. Then I patted the sofa beside me, to signal him to come and sit down. Then I picked up the blower and started CPUing him. You have to understand. I let you live. I didn't let you in because you're pretty. But for me, you still have some value. But you have to understand. This is my home. I've done you a great favor by letting you stay here. So you better not have anything bad in mind. There are cameras all over this room. If I find out you're up to no good, I'll kill you without mercy. Then, I pointed to the second bedroom where you'll be staying from now on. Without my permission. You can't go anywhere without my permission. Hearing this, Jokur answered in a low voice. In his heart, he knows very well what would happen if I kicked him out. Then I continued, Dr. Zhou, you're a smart man. I hope you can keep your word. Of course, I won't treat you badly either. Now I'll tell you my biggest secret. A man uses a piece of bread to lure a woman into his home. But the woman is not only not angry, but she is also grateful and eats the bread with a big mouthful. Turns out that in the last days, half a loaf of bread will get you 100 beautiful girls. But I was generous enough to offer a loaf of bread worth 500 grams. A caddy of meat fluffy bread. Joku, who had been hungry for 2.5 days, saw the bread. Her eyes glistened. She didn't care about being a lady. She ate it with a big mouthful. At that moment, I came up behind Joku. I'm gonna tell you my biggest secret. I'm doing this. Naturally, this is to ensure Joku's loyalty to me. Then I continued, as you all know. The cause of this snowstorm is the supernova explosion. Gamma rays. But these rays can also cause mutations in the human body. Then I created a loaf of bread out of thin air. This is my supernatural power, alien space. I can store anything in it. Seeing this scene, Jokur also realized. No wonder my life is so comfortable. I must have stocked up in advance. A large amount of supplies in advance. Continued, Dr. Zhou. You're a smart person. You can only follow me, so that you can enjoy all my supplies. Then you'll have food to eat. Hot baths to wash. Once I die, I'll lose all my supplies with me. So only if I live. You can only live. I don't fully trust you yet. You need to be paid for your labor. So from now on, you'll be responsible for all the housework. Jokur was about to say yes. I interrupted him. What else can you offer me? At that, Jokur's face suddenly blushed. He's a smart man. Naturally know what I'm talking about. The next day, I looked at Jokur who was still asleep. I felt that in the last days. It's good to have a woman with you. If I'm alone, I was afraid I'd have a nervous breakdown. Then I knocked on the door. To signal Jokur to get up for breakfast. Jokur woke up with a cry. It was the best night's sleep she'd had since the end of the world. Then she got dressed and came into the living room. Then I smiled. What are you waiting for? Hurry up and eat. Hearing this, Jokur didn't hesitate to eat. She grabbed a hamburger on the table. She took a big bite out of it. Looking at me with a smile on her face, Jokur realized that she was not eating well. She immediately acted like a good boy. She sat upright. After Jokur had eaten her fill, I threw over a Kuan brand winter jacket. This winter jacket is a high-tech product from before the end of the world. It can withstand temperatures as low as 100 degrees below zero. Then I asked Jokur to go out with me. Jokur looked puzzled. What are we going to do? I smiled coldly. Naturally, we're going out. I'm going to smash those popsicles to smithereens. Even if these scums are turned into popsicles. Even if they become popsicles, they're still disgusting. Of course, I wanted to kill Kunzai Ho more than anything. Hearing this, Jokur contemplated with his baseball bat. Even though he was indirectly responsible for the deaths of these people. But if he were to smash them to pieces, he was still a bit reluctant to do it. Not waiting for him to think more, I made a gesture of invitation. Dr. Zhou, it's your turn. Seeing this situation, Zhou Qiu cannot say anything more. Then over the balcony, followed the wooden planks to the opposite side. Then he swung the baseball bat in his hand. He hit the frozen people with a baseball bat. Watching this scene, I took out my cell phone and started recording. Seeing this situation, Zhou Qiu looked puzzled. Is this video recording? That's right. I'm gonna show those dishonest people. Who's in charge in this building now? Zhou Qiu didn't hesitate. She continued to swing the baseball bat in her hand. At this moment, he no longer cares about his image as a white angel, as long as he can survive. But what he didn't expect was, after I posted the video to the homeowners group, the neighbors didn't blame him. Instead, they applauded. Some even cried tears of joy when they saw the scene. After all, Qin Zhenghao has been here for a long time, and there are many owners who have died at his hands. Now they see Qin Zhenghao rising to heaven. They are naturally overjoyed. But they didn't wait long to be happy. I'm going to start the ceremony in the owners group. From now on, I, Zhang Yi, am in charge of this building. Otherwise, you'll end up like Qin Zhenghao. That's when they remembered I sent the video. So they all started licking each other in the group. When Fang Yuqing saw the news, called me at once. When I got his call, I was surprised. I didn't realize this bitch was still alive. I only heard. Fang Yuqing said pitifully on the other end of the phone. Brother Zhang Yi, Qin Zhenghao is dead. Can Qinger go to your? I have enough to eat and wear at home. I won't allow you to be with Zhou Qiu. You belong only to me. When I heard that, I laughed. So you're still alive? At those words, Fang Yuqing suddenly realized that I know. Mr. Zhang Yi thought I was dead. That's why he's with Zhou Qiu. I'm sorry, Qinger. I'm gonna live a happy life with you now. But her girlfriends and Wang Min are not happy. They're living in misery now. It's all because of Fang Yuqing. Naturally, they won't let Fang Yuqing live a good life. Soon on the other side of the phone, 3 women were tearing each other apart. Seeing this situation, Zhou Qiu hurriedly came over. At this moment he felt a sense of crisis. He was afraid that I would run away. This scene suddenly gave me a bad taste in my mouth. Fang Yuqing, in my last life you turned me into a turd in despair. This time I'll let you experience despair. So, I immediately sent a picture of me and Zhou Qiu together. I sent it to Fang Yuqing. Then she said with a look of regret, "You're a good person. But I've met my true love now. Let's not contact each other anymore. I'm afraid he'll get the wrong idea." After hearing the voice message, Fang Yuqing hurriedly broke away from Wang Ming and his men. She picked up her cell phone. After seeing the photo, she instantly exploded. Brother Zhang Yi, Qinger is the one who loves you the most. Zhou Qiu must have chosen to be with you. That's why she chose to be with you. Hearing this, I laughed at that. Aren't you? Besides, Zhou Qiu is far superior to you in every aspect. How could I give her up for you? After reading the news, Fang Yuqing cried her eyes out. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. You were so devoted to me. How can you change so quickly? It must be Zhou Qiu's trick. That woman deserves to die. Seeing this scene, my best friend and Wang Ming at once mocked. Get up, you self-indulgent white lotus. This is retribution. On the other hand, I looked at Zhou Qiu and asked, will you think I'm cruel? Will you think I'm cruel? Zhou Qiu immediately came over. I believe you have your own reasons for doing this. At those words, my guard against him was lowered. After all, no man can refuse such a well-behaved and understanding woman. In no time, Zhou Qiu made a delicious lunch. I had just picked up an apple and taken a bite. There was a message from the owners group. Auntie Lin, who's been acting like a bully in the past. She's back in the group again, saying that she's got it from above, and threatened to hand over all the food to him. Or else after the snowstorm, everyone will be liquidated. When I saw the message, I was shocked. I remember, Auntie Lin was the first to be robbed by Chen Zhengqing. It's a miracle she's still alive. At that moment Zhou Qiu whispered that she left some supplies for Lin Xiaohu's treatment. He thought the snowstorm would pass quickly. He didn't expect it to snow for 2.5 months. But I was puzzled. It's been so long. Even with Zhou Qiu's supplies, Mrs. Lin wouldn't have lasted this long. Plus he has a 2.5-year-old grandson. Zhou Qiu said. Lin Xiaohu had died more than 10 days ago. He died more than 10 days ago. Hearing this, I suddenly understood. It seems that Mrs. Lin, she took care of her grandson in her mouth. Zhou Qiu naturally knows what I mean. During the 2 days he was controlled by Qin Zhenghao. He's been under Qin Zhenghao's control for 2 days. He'd seen it all before. That moment, my cell phone suddenly rang. When I saw it was Uncle Yu, I picked up the phone and answered it. I asked him what he wanted. On the other end of the line, Uncle Yu looked embarrassed. Turns out that before the snowstorm broke out, in my previous life I had a good impression of Uncle Yu. This veteran's good impression. I told him about the end of the world. And Uncle Yu became the second person besides me. Besides me, he was the second person to hide half of a Walmart. But now, he called me for help with supplies. Uncle Yao is one of the few good guys in the post-apocalyptic world. And he's also a good fighter. Naturally, I wouldn't refuse. After hearing my affirmative answer, Uncle Yu stammered and said, his daughter, Sugar Treasure, has a fever. He wants to borrow some antipyretic medicine from me. I was shocked. Uncle Yu has been a bachelor for half his life. Why did he suddenly have a daughter? It turns out, Xiaoli Mei found out that Uncle Yu was hoarding a lot of supplies. She took advantage of the situation. After 40 years of bachelorhood, Uncle Yu couldn't resist the temptation. So he became the receiver of this scheming mom. When I found out about this, I was stunned. This Xiaoli Mei is really something. In the whole building, Uncle Yu and I were the only ones who stocked up on supplies. But he was able to find the right choice. He found the right choice among all the owners. But I didn't think much of it. After all, this is someone else's family business. Besides, I can use this opportunity to get Uncle Yu on my side. It would be good to be of use to me in the future. So I smiled and said I had a few boxes of antipyretics at home. I told Uncle Yu to come and get them later. Uncle Yu was thrilled. He thanked me profusely. He swore that if I needed him in the future, he'd do everything he could to help me. At that moment, Zhou Kuo approached me. She asked, are you close to Uncle Yu? But I said, everything is about profit. Uncle Yu is kind and honest. Let him owe me a favor. Maybe I can use him in the future. Besides, I don't want him to be a veteran. Because of the end of the world. Because of the end of the world. Uncle Yao soon knocked on my door. Is Zhang there? Zhu Jiguang. When I heard that, I picked up the tablet and looked at the surveillance camera. I didn't realize Xiaoli Mei had followed me. She asked anxiously at the door. Our baby Sugar has a high fever and won't go away. Zhang Yi, please help us. As soon as he spoke, I threw out a box of antipyretic. I threw out a box of fever-reducing pills. Give them to the baby. Don't delay. Uncle Lu picked up the fever-reducing pills in a hurry. Then he said with excitement that Zhang Yi, thank you so much. You've already helped me twice in this post-apocalyptic world. But Xiaoli Mei came forward and begged Zhang Yi. You have a heater at home. Can you let Sugar Baby stay at your home for a while? We'll leave when we're cured. But I could see right through his small-mindedness. You're just trying to get ahead of yourself. Why don't you come in and bake with us? So I said to the door, thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry. This is a special time. I can't let outsiders in easily. Besides, I've almost used up all the coal at home. I can only wear 8 down jackets a day to keep me warm. At that moment, Uncle Yu stepped forward to smooth things over. Zhang Yi has already done us a great favor. Let's not make things difficult for him. But Xiaoli Mei burst into tears. She started to kidnap Zhang Yi. For the sake of Mr. Yu. For the sake of the baby. Let us stay at your home for a while. At those words, my face instantly darkened. In my last life, he relied on this kind of sympathy. He lasted a short time in the end of the world. But, you can only fool an honest man like Uncle Yu. So, I said that if it were before the end of the world, Sister Xia, you could bring the whole village to live here. But this is the end of the world. The owners of the whole building want to take over my house. I hope you can understand. But Xiaoli Mei won't give up. Didn't you let Zhou Kuo move in? She can go in. Why can't we? When I heard that, I laughed. Zhou Kuo is my girlfriend. My girlfriend doesn't live in my house. She can't stay at your place? But Zhou Kuo was shocked when she heard that. Although she knew I was just saying that. But in the last days, having a man to rely on is what every woman looks forward to. Uncle Yu also agreed with me. Zhang has already helped us enough. Let's not make things harder for him. But Xiaoli Mei looked resigned to the fact that I did it. I did it for our child. If something happens to him, how can I live? Seeing this situation, Uncle Yu could do nothing. He could only take him away. He kept telling me he was sorry. After they left, I sighed. If this woman is interfering, I'm afraid she'll ruin my relationship with Uncle Yu. In my heart, Uncle Yao is the ideal wage earner. He's not only honest, he's also a good worker. But now that Xiaoli Mei is whispering in his ear, I'm afraid my plan will be delayed. On the other side, as soon as Uncle Yu arrived home, he began to question Xiaoli Mei. Drugs are scarce now. It's good enough that they're giving it to us. Why are you being so aggressive? Xiaoli Mei held her baby in her arms and looked aggrieved. I did it for the sake of our child. For our future. I don't want to stay there forever. I heard that. Uncle Yu sighed. I understand what you mean. But you have to be grateful for what you've received. If Zhang hadn't told me about the snowstorm, I wouldn't be alive now. Hearing this, Xiaoli Mei immediately pondered how Zhang Yi could have known about the snowstorm in advance. Zhang Yi knew about the snowstorm. Zhang Yi must have stocked up on supplies. Thinking about this, he sighed as he leaned on Uncle Yu's shoulder and said, I understand the reasoning, but you treat him as a benefactor. But he treats you like a thief and is on guard. Didn't you see how Zhang Yi threw out the medicine? He's afraid we'll come in and take over his house. If Zhang Yi is really a good man, how could he be so cruel to kill dozens of neighbors? In my opinion, he's just a disadvantage. Small favors. Trying to use you to become his fighter in the future? Not waiting for Xieli Mei to finish her sentence, Uncle Yu directly interrupted him with a loud voice. Enough! Yu Jiguang, know right from wrong. Please don't say such things again. This roar scared Xieli Mei. She apologized. She knew Uncle Yu was already angry. She could only find another opportunity to fan the flames. Then Uncle Yu turned away with a black face. He was a simple man but not a fool. He knew what this woman was thinking. While Xieli Mei looked at the sleeping sugar baby with a gloomy face. If he wanted to survive in this post-apocalyptic world, he must do whatever it takes. The news that I hid a Walmart supermarket finally spread throughout the neighborhood. The owner of the next building blew up my front door early in the morning. And I didn't panic. I was laughing. Turns out that the deadly cold has been here for 75 days now. And the snow in the neighborhood has piled up as high as an 8-story building. It's almost impossible to get out of here. The homeowners who survived can only start to look for food. At this moment, a group of uninvited guests arrived in the snow. They dug and dug and dug in the small garden. And then they dug up a pathway to my neighborhood. Then, several people came out with shovels and hammers. And they didn't hesitate. They went straight to the 24th floor. On the 24th floor, at that moment, a homeowner who was going out to dig for ice cream collided with them. Seeing their eyes, the owner dropped his bucket and ran. The owner dropped his bucket and ran away. But 2 legs can't outrun a dozen legs. Soon, the owner was knocked to the ground with a shovel. For this group of people, any living thing that they come across will become their defense for defecation. But right now they have more important things to do. And that's to take over my house. Because not long ago, they found out that my house has a huge amount of food. Now, in this post-apocalyptic world, where there's not enough to eat and not enough to wear, this news is definitely a heavy bomb. As long as they take me down, they can live longer. Soon after, these people came to my front door in force. And then a spirited guy who played demolition came forward with a bundle of C4 bombs, and he lit the fuse. He ran straight to the end of the corridor. A few moments later, a deafening blast resonated throughout the building. The noise instantly woke me up from my sleep. Seeing this situation, I didn't have time to think. I hurriedly grabbed my pistol to check the surveillance equipment. I saw a bunch of unfamiliar faces. A group of unfamiliar faces. Dogs were at the end of the corridor. I don't know what they're discussing. Judging from the tools in their hands, I quickly identified them. They were construction workers from the building next door. I remember there were about 20 of them. And they came to my house so brazenly. It seems that the information about my stockpiling of supplies has already reached the outside world. The people outside the door are all confused. Donkey, what kind of bomb is this? Can't even blow up an anus. Old Donkey rubbed the back of his head. Maybe the explosives are damp and not powerful enough. Why don't we just do it? We're pros at demolishing houses anyway. When I saw the scene, I was furious. The old cat is not powerful. You think I'm a sick tiger? Right away, I took out the white phosphorus I had stockpiled from the other dimension to make a simple white phosphorus bomb. And together with the incendiary bombs, I threw them out through the window of the doorway. When the white phosphorus bomb explodes, it will instantly generate a high temperature of 1000 degrees. Melt the surrounding objects. Soon the 2 people at the door who couldn't dodge in time were instantly melted by the heat. But I was not relieved, so I silently loaded my 98K. All the homeowners in the neighborhood came to blow up the door of my house. But I didn't panic and played games at home. Because before the apocalypse, I made my house a safe house. Without a nuclear bomb. Couldn't even break through our door. Seeing that the group of people outside the house were still not satisfied, I threw a few more Molotov cocktails at them. Soon the fire was spreading throughout the hallway. The old donkey covered in flames. He was about to call out to his companions. The next moment, a bullet went straight through his head. Then I picked up my pistol. I fired several shots at the people outside the house. This scene. The second uncle who was leading the team was stunned in place. I thought I could easily take my house. But I didn't realize that my house is not only highly secure. I didn't realize that my house was not only highly secured, but also equipped with such a powerful weapon. Soon the last worker who came close to my door, I shot dead, looking at the corpses on the ground, covered in flames. Uncle didn't dare to hesitate any longer. He rushed back to the next neighborhood with the rest of his men. He was afraid that if he didn't hurry, he'd end up with no bones left. I looked at the pistol that had run out of bullets. I pondered for a while. In the end of the world, there must be more powerful interests than these workers. There will be more powerful interest groups. And to deal with them, I have to get more powerful weapons. And these guys are obviously prepared. I must find a chance to kill them all. Then I went back to my room. I comforted Joku, who was scared. Don't be afraid, I've already chased them away. Hearing this, Jokur looked at me with tears in her eyes. Although she knew it was the end of the world. But this is the first time. It's the first time he's seen it. If he was attacked by those people, I can imagine what would happen to him. But when he heard me say that I drove them away, Zhou Kuer's heart felt a lot more secure. I was now his only source of support. Then he asked me about what had just happened. I briefly explained the situation. Zhou Kuer was stunned. These people are much more dangerous than Qin Zhenghao. That's right. Qin Zhenghao is only using a pistol as a weapon. But those workers do manual labor every day. They're naturally stronger than ordinary people. And they know how to blow things up. Although the house is strong. But it's not unbreakable. We have to solve their problems as soon as possible. Otherwise, we won't be able to sleep well. After that, I picked up my cell phone and looked at it. It's time to find some cannon fodder to work for me. At this time, the owner's group is also exploded pots and pans. A group of homeowners were awakened by the sound of the explosion. I briefly told the group what had happened. After seeing the news, owners started licking their knees one after another. Zhang Yi, you're our hero. But I told them, my weapons are almost depleted. Everyone can only fend for themselves. At that moment, Uncle Yu called me. He asked about my situation. He said he knew the workers. The leader was Huang Tianfeng. Under his leadership, dozens of homeowners have been victimized these days. Hearing this, I had an idea. Uncle Yu, can you tell me more about them? So that I can discuss a plan with the others. To deal with them,